Well, hello YouTube, back in the shop today. So today, hopefully, we're gonna Proseal. We're gonna get the leading edges and the support wedges or support spars into this guy here, which is the elevator trim tab. And so that we got that painted up yesterday, if you guys remember. And then today, we're going to put the leading edge or trailing edge wedge in there, and then get this buttoned up. And so we got a lot of work to do today. And yeah, we're gonna be getting into some goop, some Proseal. And if you guys don't know what Proseal is, it's a gasket-like material that's used for gas tanks. It's very pliable, and it's chemical resistant, i.e. that's what we use to seal up gas tanks and stuff like that. So yeah, so we're gonna mix that up. We've got it in the tube here, and we'll get those support wedges in and everything. So we got a lot of work to do, a lot of stinky, goopy mess to make. Try not to make a mess, but it will happen, and everything. But you guys know the routine. This plane is not gonna build itself, so we gotta get to work. All right, so let's talk. Let's talk. All right, so I've got all of the markings. I measured out, and I measured out all of the markings where these pieces will go in. And these pieces, these are foam spars that is going to help reinforce the elevator trim and also the elevator up here. So upon doing that, though, I then realized, and the instructions do say this, we need to rivet this back spar in place, because once you put this together, you won't be able, or once you clamp this together, you won't be able to get inside here and run this rivet line. So you have to put this back spar in place, and then of course we'll basically goop these in or glue these in like that, and then we'll conceal, we'll shut it down and put the clips over so it will bond and let it sit. So you have to put this spar in. You have to rib these in. You also have to rib these in. I'm not gonna there is a schedule because of the thickness and stuff. You use different size or different length rivets for here. So these horn here needs to be put in, and then these rivets done. Now, if you don't, and I've said this time and time again, you need to have one of these types of yokes. And the reason being is this yoke here will allow you to go around, and you got to kind of finagle it in there, but it will work, trust me. See how that goes in? But you got to kind of, it's like a Chinese puzzle. You need this type of yoke. It's got the high angle, or the high relief here, versus this yoke, which is the standard relief. And as you can see, that looks like it'll make it, but once you put your sets in and get it adjusted, it will not go over. It will not go over that this here, because even though it barely fits here, like I said, once you get your set in and everything, it's not going to be able to make it through that thing. So you need a high relief yoke. So that's it. And then what I do is I always put a cleco next to the one that I'm riveting, and then I just move down. If you guys see that. So that's how I do that, is put a cleco next to, so I'll move this cleco over, put a rivet in, and then proceed all the way down. So I got to do all of that. But yeah, it's very important that you you got to read the instructions and the riveting order, because like I said, if you were to put the spars in and then glue those in using the Proseal, which is right here, you're not going to be able to get to this to rivet them in. So you're kind of throw the piece out, or you're going to do some cleaning. So, all right. So enough of that. I just wanted to share that with you, and I've got a lot of riveting to do. So we got the rear spar of the trim tab. We got that put in, and that's all ready to go. I got the part cleaned up. I have the Proseal. Now, what's really nice about this version of Proseal is it works with a caulking gun, which is actually over there. What you do is you put this in there. This is actually the Proseal, and this is the activator. And then you mix this up until this all turns gray. And then once it turns gray, you put it into the caulking gun and then put it on. Now, if you've never used Proseal, it is smelly, it is messy. Well, it's as messy as it's caulk, basically, but it is definitely smelly. So make sure that you have a well-ventilated area. The main thing is make sure it's mixed up as well. Now, on Van's website, they said this has a 2-hour cure time, and that could possibly be true because it is in a container or in a caulking kind of like gun. But when you look this up, it actually the B2, what is really crazy is that the B2 says that that it's about a half hour work time. So with what I've got to do, I should be able to get everything done and ready, made up within the half hour. So first thing is I got to basically glue these wedges in. I'm going to keep the paper on, no big deal. I'm going to glue these wedges in to their positions here. I do have them marked out. Like I said, it's important that you kind of plan. So I have my little marks in the parts themselves. So everything is ready to be lined up. So what I'll do is I'll just butter up both sides, set these in, and then of course we will Cleco everything down to get it to Cleco together. Once you get it Cleco together, as you can see, the springiness of the part, you don't want it to spring back. So it's very important that once you get everything Cleco down, that it stays Cleco down until you get it riveted. Do not take your Clecos out, or it will spring back up, and you're gonna break the bond that you're working on and everything. So just some rules of caution. Getting everything ready is probably a good idea as well. Being ready for the parts, and my bench doesn't look like it, but it is ready. I'll clean it off even some more before I actually get to work on this. I might actually move this piece over to that bench over there, so I have a little bit more room. All right, enough talking. I've got some Proseal to mix up and everything and get it ready, and then we'll get back. All right, so what I did, me, myself, and I, is so I've got the Proseal in, and as you can see, you want it to, and don't worry about it being on your Clecos. It'll come off. It's a gasket material, so it will come off with a razor blade or just wiping it off. It is impervious, or is that the word I want to use, against solvents, but it will peel off from the material. So, and it will get messy. It does get messy. So what I do, it's kind of like when I make what we call peanut butter in the fiberglass business when we're doing boats. You want to squeeze. You want to see the squeeze coming out through the holes, and that means that you've got good contact, one, and then number two, that it not only contact, but you got enough, right? So when it squeezes, when you compress it, you want to see it squeeze through the top like it's done and out through the hole. So that means that it's got good coverage and there's more than enough in there to do it. So yeah, it is messy. It is goop. It is. I would highly recommend wearing gloves, having some acetone or some kind of denatured alcohol close by to get it off your hands if you happen to get it on your hands. Make sure you got plenty of paper towel down or some kind of marker or some kind of paper down. So because when you do use the gun, even though you let up on the pressure of the gun, it will ooze out of the tip. I wanted to show it to you, but it's already been thrown away. So make sure you have some paper down. I got some on my bench. but I was able to get it cleaned up. But yeah, so even when you do your gun, when you stop compressing it, it will still ooze out. So make sure you have some kind of covering. Also, this is where preparation is everything. Make sure that you have your Clecos ready, all of your parts. Like I said, do not worry about it getting on the Clecos. It will come off. It's no big deal. But you want to make sure you have all your Clecos ready to go, because you're gonna, I did mine alternate, so that way I have equal pressure on each side. And then what I do, I kind of look down to make sure that I'm in line, that it doesn't wave, and it doesn't. So this is a small enough trailing edge, unlike the rudder where that was longer. We used these bars and clamped them down. We don't have to do that on this. There's not enough. It's not long enough to get that wave in there. From what I can tell, your mileage might be different. Yeah, the other way that I did it on the bigger pieces is I actually put the flats down and then clamped them. But in this case, I just used the my Clecos and alternate. But it looks like we got good equal penetration through both, because pretty much it oozed out the same consistency on both sides of the hole. None of these Clecos were dry, which means that I got a good bond. And then more importantly, you can see along the edge, the leading edge or the trailing edge, you can see where it oozed out of that as well. So there you go. So Vans recommends a couple days. I think we're just going to let it cook here. I've got the elevator over here sitting on the bench. Same thing. I just Clecoed every other one. Got it Cleco. Got my pins in to where and I did mark. It's a good idea to mark where they're going to be, but I got the pins on, or the clips on, pushing where the actual foam is. I got to pick that up. It's on the floor. So yeah. So it's just right now. It's just wait. I did kind of take a peek, and there's enough. You put enough of the sealant, Proseal, on here. Don't try to make it look nice. It's not a cake. You want gobs. You want it to ooze out. You're not trying to make a cake and make it look pretty. It is meant to be messy for a reason. So yeah, I'm looking down. Man, that looks really good. That edge looks really, really good. So I'm really happy with that. So yeah, so that was it for today. So yeah, so I flip it around. And drink my Dunkin'. I have my Dunkin' Donuts. I haven't drank this all day. It's been sitting over here getting cold and stuff. I got that when I got here to the shop and didn't take a drink out. All right. So yeah, so we got about 2 days. 2 to 3 days. We got, depending on temperature. It's 70, 73 degrees. I'm not bragging here in Florida. It is the middle of winter. It's January sometime, mid-January, and everything. But yeah, it's like everything else. You got to let it cure. And Vans recommends at least 2 days. I'll probably give it 3, and everything. I am at really a stopping point because I am still waiting for that back spar for the other elevator to come in, so I can go ahead and get that one built. Learned a lot on this. I still like the approach that I did, where I did one side and then did the other, instead of doing both of them at the same time. A lot of lessons learned, a lot of processes or steps that I incorporated from one to the other, and learning and saying, hey, look, do it this way, do it that way. Having the visual of having one built as you're building the other one is great. The plans are outstanding. Don't get me wrong. Vans is very good about their plans, but one thing, van builders, like, do they mean this or do they mean that? And the fact that you can actually have one mocked up and actually have that experience of putting it together, you get it. I understand now why Vans people that build the vans, airplanes and stuff, they build the second and the third and the fourth one, if you're so fortunate to have four. It just gets so much easier because you get that process. You understand how things come together. And a lot of it too is faith. You know, when you first start out, you're like, how are these pieces going to come together? You know, there's just no way. And then they come to, you just have faith. It's crazy. No, faith is not crazy. It's a good thing to have. But so it's coming along. Like I said, I got to let it sit now for 2 days, at least 2 days, possibly 3, to let that Proseal kick in. I can tell you, working with the Proseal, I am not looking forward to building the fuel tanks. That's where you really get into the Proseal. These little, you know, leading edges or trailing edges, not leading, trailing edges, is Mickey Mouse compared to what you have to do when you build a tank. Now, Vans has a really great video. Vans actually did it as one of their lead builders. Did a video, a 2-hour video on how to build the gas tanks with the Proseal and the steps and stuff. So you got to watch that. I've watched it twice already. You know, it's like I watched the Dynon videos and I watched the Garmin videos and I watched the Adadyne videos and the, you know, you just do that. You know, get ideas and thoughts and dream a little bit. A lot of it's dreaming. So, so yeah, you know, we're just chugging along here, and I just want to say thanks for joining me in the shop today. Like I said, I've got at least 2 days. I know for a fact 2 days. I can't disturb it. I got to let this stuff cook. I'm not going to mess with it. So, so I won't be back into the shop. I won't be back for at least 2 more days. So, so yeah, we'll just let it cook. You got to have patience. Got to have patience. Let it do it. Let it do its thing, and everything, and then we'll get back in here, and hopefully by then our front spar will be here, and then even if it was here, I'm not going to do anything because I got to leave the parts, just leave them alone. Don't touch them, don't move them. Got to give it time for those spars to get sealed up in there, and that caulk, even though you are sandwiching them and everything, it is viscous and it has some slippery, especially when you put it under pressure. You guys all know when you put, you know, ice under a skate, that's why you can glide. And when you put something under pressure, especially with water and stuff, it becomes slippery. So the last thing I want to do is be moving those around now that they're set and they're you know setting up. You want that kickoff. So. Well, enough of that. I just want to say thanks. Thanks for joining me in the shop today. And like always, if you have a comment or anything, put it in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you. It's not like I get a bunch of comments, so I got plenty of time to reply to them about the airplane. If you got a suggestion, hey, I'm open for it. I mean, it's all about working together on this stuff and everything. So, you know, and be well, be safe, and like always, may God bless you and your family.